Have you ever wondered what the modern advertising and marketing industry actually looks like under the hood? Well, if we look through the lens of the Sustainable Industry Classification System, or SACIS for short, specifically code SVAD, we get a pretty fascinating picture. Today, we're breaking down how giant global holding entities manage this massive, interconnected web of specialized agencies. We're talking everything from brand consulting and market research, all the way to advanced data analytics and global media buying. Let's dive right in.
So, what exactly is SICS code SVAD? Basically, it's the official sustainability accounting standard specifically built for the advertising and marketing industry, which sits right inside the broader services sector. But, to really measure sustainability here, we first have to understand the massive players that are actually governed by this code. Think about it like a giant puzzle. These global holding entities manage an incredibly complex web of specialized agencies. For just one single ad campaign, they might tap into brand consultancy, market research, content creation, graphic arts, and then layer on advanced data analytics and global media buying. It's a huge operation. And because the web is so complex, their sustainability risks are incredibly varied too.
In this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly how these global giants report on all those risks. We'll start by setting up the framework context, look at the actual blueprint of the standard, and then dive deep into three core pillars: navigating data privacy, ensuring advertising integrity, and workforce diversity and inclusion.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Framework Context, the authority behind the standards.
So, who actually makes these rules? Well, as of August 2022, the International Sustainability Standards Board, or the ISSB, took the reins for these SASB standards. They are the top-tier global authority maintaining and enhancing these guidelines. And the specific version we're exploring today, the 2023-12 version, officially takes effect for all entities for annual periods beginning on or after January 1st, 2025. So we're literally looking at the very near future of corporate reporting for the ad world.
Moving right along to Section 2, the blueprint. Let's get into the actual disclosure topics and metrics.
Looking straight at the standard itself, we can see exactly what these companies are required to disclose. The blueprint covers three major sustainability topics: data privacy, advertising integrity, and workforce diversity and inclusion, alongside some very specific quantitative metrics. This is the ultimate tool for holding these giants accountable. It proves that these holding companies can't just throw out vague promises anymore. They're held strictly accountable through very specific, measurable categories.
And that brings us to Section 3, which is arguably the most visible issue for everyday consumers like you and me: navigating data privacy.
I want you to think about this for a second. How exactly is your digital footprint monetized to create highly targeted custom audiences? Think about your social media scrolling, location-based mobile apps, your late-night online shopping. Your digital footprint paints a shockingly complete picture of your daily habits. Advertisers are constantly collecting this information from first, second, and third-party sources just to target you with pinpoint accuracy. The SVAD standard forces companies to lay it all out and disclose exactly how they balance the massive financial benefits of this targeted advertising with, actually protecting your personal data.
To make sense of all this, the standard actually categorizes the exact types of consumer data that advertisers use. You've got demographic data, which identifies a population, like gender, age, or employment status. Then there's location data, literally tracking your physical movement patterns using GPS. Personal data is anything relating to an identifiable living individual. But the one you really need to pay attention to here is behavioral data. This is the stuff that quietly tracks your individual behaviors. We're talking browsing patterns, buying habits, what brands you click on. This is the real engine behind those hyper-targeted ads that seem to follow you around the internet.
So, how do they actually measure this? Under a specific metric, advertising entities have to quantitatively disclose the percentage of their total online advertising impressions that are targeted to these custom audiences. They literally have to show their hand on how heavily they rely on your data. And it gets better. Under a related metric, they must report the total amount of monetary losses they incur from legal proceedings tied to consumer privacy incidents. Meaning, if they mishandle your data and get slapped with a massive fine, it goes right there on the public record for everyone to see.
Okay, let's pivot to Section 4, ensuring advertising integrity. Because once you've targeted an audience, the next question is, what are you actually legally allowed to say to them?
Advertising agencies carry a strict legal responsibility to make sure their campaigns are truthful and definitely not deceptive. Regulators absolutely will investigate agencies involved in shady or deceptive practices. So, to avoid massive legal headaches, agencies participate in self-regulatory programs. The standard requires them to assess campaigns against exact criteria. They have to ask, is it legal? Is it decent and honest according to local cultural norms? Is it truthful? Are we being socially responsible and respecting human dignity? They even check for fairness, like making sure it's free from plagiarism, and obviously privacy compliance. The standard strictly tracks the percentage of campaigns, measured by revenue, that actually undergo this rigorous review process.
Now, this oversight becomes hyper-focused when we start talking about regulated products. The standard explicitly tracks the percentage of campaigns, again by revenue, that promote alcohol or tobacco products. Since these products come with highly specific rules, outright prohibitions, media restrictions, and mandatory warning labels, an agency's heavy reliance on this revenue is a distinct sustainability and regulatory risk. It's a huge liability, and it's something investors absolutely need to know about.
Let's move on to our final pillar today, Section 5, Workforce Diversity and Inclusion.
Let's look at how all this connects back to the actual people doing the work. In the advertising world, your competitive advantage comes entirely from producing creative, innovative ideas, right? And effectively connecting with the target market globally relies on employing a workforce that genuinely reflects those diverse communities. The standard sets up a very exact reporting structure for this. Entities have to break down both gender and diversity representation. And they can't just lump everyone into one big misleading bucket. They must categorize it by executive management, non-executive management, highly skilled professionals, and all other employees. This is absolutely crucial because it prevents companies from hiding a lack of diversity at the very top behind a highly diverse entry-level workforce.
But, it goes way beyond just the raw numbers. The standard also mandates that entities must describe the actual policies and programs they use to foster equitable representation. We're talking about providing real transparency in hiring and wage practices, detailing their diversity training, proving they have active mentorship and sponsorship programs, and even offering flexible work schedules. Basically, the numbers show us exactly where the company stands today, but these policies show if they are actually committed to improving tomorrow.
All of this leaves us with a pretty critical final thought. In an age of incredibly hyper-targeted media, massive behavioral data collection, and just immense global influence, are these metrics enough to keep the global advertising industry accountable? The SVAD standard provides a powerful, transparent lens into how these massive holding companies operate. It forces them to put hard numbers behind their corporate promises on privacy, integrity, and diversity. The blueprint is clearly there, but at the end of the day, it's up to us to actually read the reports and demand that accountability. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.